You and Wayne had like a kiss thing going on.
Facts. I know you got a child. You probably kiss him. You probably got a son and you kiss him.
Yeah.
You heard me? I always looked at Wayne as my son.
A bizarre request from Young Thug's defense amidst the rapper's ongoing jury selection, petitioning the court to exclude evidence of a ritualistic sacrifice in his RICO trial.
Besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the Hot Boys. Before that, the Ross, and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them. I honestly say, I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million.
Thug just sent the internet into chaos after dropping a now-deleted tweet that called out Birdman's dark industry habits in Atlanta. And this time, it's sounding way deeper than fans ever imagined. He didn't hold back either. Thug hinted that those old ritual rumors tied to Birdman weren't just internet talk. They were real. People who've been around the game long enough know Birdman's name always carried mystery and power. But what Thug implied has fans rethinking everything. That tweet didn't just come out of nowhere, it hit like a warning shot. And now folks are asking if Thug just cracked open one of hip-hop's most protected secrets, or if he's just playing with fire to shake the system up. Either way, that silence around Birdman might finally be breaking. For years, Birdman's empire has been built on loyalty and control, moves so calculated that even seasoned rappers stayed quiet. His circle ran like a secret society, and everybody knew crossing him could cost you your spot. But now, Thugger's energy feels different. It's like he's done keeping quiet about what really goes down behind the velvet ropes in Atlanta's music scene. And you can't talk about industry weirdness without bringing up that moment, the viral scene that changed everything. When Birdman was caught kissing Lil Wayne on the lips, the whole rap world froze. The clip wasn't some leaked rumor. It was broadcast for everyone to see, and Wayne himself even admitted it on live TV. Fans couldn't believe it. The man who built Cash Money's tough image suddenly had people questioning everything about what was really happening behind those closed doors.
You and Wayne had like a kiss thing going on.
Facts. I know you got a child. You probably kiss him. You probably got a son and you kiss him.
Yeah.
You heard me? I always looked at Wayne as my son, and I always looked at it like, because I was in the streets, and I thought this might be the last time they ever see me. That's where that shit started from, and I always today look at Wayne as my child. I was his father when he didn't have a father, since he was 9 years old.
Right.
And I love him like my own, and I give my life for him, and I'll take a life for him.
Birdman later tried to explain it away, saying Wayne was like his son, and that the kiss came from love, not anything strange. He spoke about how Wayne grew up without a father, how those moments felt like saying goodbye before heading back to the streets. I always looked at Wayne as my son, he said, trying to make people understand it was family, not scandal. But that explanation didn't stop the internet from going wild. Even with all that talk, the story never faded. Some say Birdman's influence has always come with a dark edge, manipulating artists, locking down contracts, and staying tied to street dealings that go way beyond music. Others think it's all exaggerated drama, but no matter what side you're on, Birdman's name still sits at the center of that strange mix of power, control, and suspicion. And when you remember how he kept Wayne stuck in legal battles for years, delaying projects, controlling the money, it all starts to feel connected. That's why Thug's deleted tweet hit so hard. Maybe he wasn't just stirring the pot. Maybe he was signaling that the silence in Atlanta's inner circles is finally cracking wide open. After that viral kiss, everything shifted. What once looked like family affection suddenly started to feel like pure control, the kind that keeps people loyal, scared, and quiet.
At the time, it was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up a line or something.
The so-called father-son bond between Birdman and Lil Wayne cracked wide open in 2015 when Wayne dragged Cash Money Records to court, demanding freedom from contracts he said were choking his career. That lawsuit flipped their entire dynamic inside out, and even though they later made peace, fans could never unsee that history. Birdman's name was now permanently stamped with suspicion, and he couldn't outrun it no matter how hard he tried. But here's where things got even stranger, because Birdman didn't stop there. He just found a new protege. Once the drama with Wayne settled, he started grooming the next wave of rappers, and at the top of that list was none other than Young Thug. That's when things went from whispers to full-blown red flags. Before Birdman stepped in, Thug was a rising star under Gucci Mane's wing. Raw energy, unpredictable delivery, and a sound that was pure Atlanta. People respected him for being different, but not that different. Then around 2014, Birdman launched his Rich Gang project with Thug and Rich Homie Quan, and boom, the transformation began. Overnight, Thug wasn't just another ATL rapper, he was Birdman's new chosen one, the next golden child. Birdman even started calling him the future of the game, while fans noticed something eerie. He treated Thug the same way he once treated Wayne. The grooming, the gifts, the spotlight, everything was playing out like a remake of the same script. Birdman executive produced Thug's work, pulled him into Rich Gang videos, and made it loud and clear, this is the new Wayne. And that's when the industry really started paying attention. Thug started calling Birdman daddy, using words like bae and lover with his circle. Even with Rich Homie Quan. Then came the visual shift. Thug popping out in dresses and skirts, telling fans it was all high fashion and creative freedom. But not everyone bought that explanation. Critics started linking it back to those old Birdman rumors, the same ones that had haunted him since the Wayne Kiss days. Things hit another level when Thug dropped Barter 6, a bold spin on Wayne's legendary Carter series. Fans instantly felt the tension. Was this Birdman's way of replacing one son with another? Some said Thug was just loyal to the man who believed in him. Others believed Birdman was playing chess while everyone else was pawns. Birdman himself said Thug reminded him of his younger self, that he only wanted to guide him, help him with his publishing, and make sure his business stayed clean. But the pattern looked all too familiar. The same father-son dynamic, the same loyalty tests, only this time it came wrapped in even more controversy, fashion statements, and coded messages. Years passed, and even after lawsuits, tour drama, and label tension, Thug never wavered. He kept defending Birdman publicly, calling him family and refusing to let outsiders divide them. Birdman, in return, doubled down, praising Thug as the future and teasing another Rich Gang 2 project, as if the cycle was ready to repeat all over again. Here's the real question. Was Thug's loyalty pure, or was he tangled up in the same web Wayne barely escaped from years earlier? Because the deeper you look, the stranger Birdman's mentorship starts to appear. Right when people thought it couldn't get any darker, that's when the conversation about industry rituals began to catch fire again, the kind everyone whispers about but never says out loud. Once Thug got fully wrapped into the cash money circle, the symbolism in his music and visuals started turning heads. Fans began connecting dots, and not just for fun either. Take his track Up with Lil Uzi Vert. That video had the internet going crazy. It wasn't just a trippy art project. It looked straight out of a secret lodge. You had checkerboard floors, heavy shadows, masked figures, and owls staring right into the camera like they were guarding something hidden. People swore it looked like a coded message, a signal that Thug was now part of the same secret club hip-hop's elite have been rumored to move with for years. And then came the wildest twist, rumors that made their way into court. During the YSLRICO case, prosecutors dropped a shocking claim that one of Thug's own associates had allegedly been involved in a goat sacrifice ritual linked to gang activity. His lawyers fought hard to get that tossed out, saying it was just an attempt to make him look evil in front of a jury. But the moment that hit headlines, speculation took off like wildfire. Suddenly, people weren't just talking about his outfits or music videos. They were asking if these so-called rituals had crossed into real life.
A bizarre request from Young Thug's defense amidst the rapper's ongoing jury selection, petitioning the court to exclude evidence of a ritualistic sacrifice in his RICO trial.
Thug's visuals haven't helped calm that storm either. Over the years, fans have noticed all kinds of unsettling imagery. Upside-down crosses, crying statues, puppets on strings, even shots that some say mimic demonic art. He's been accused of blending religion and rebellion in a way that feels less like shock value and more like coded loyalty to something darker. Was he following the same blueprint Birdman's been accused of pushing for decades, or just playing the media's obsession to keep his name buzzing? Either way, the symbolism hasn't gone unnoticed. And just when people thought they'd seen enough, another name from Birdman's past reappeared. Ms. T.
How much he owe? You'll find out when I do the court paper.
If you don't know her, she's considered one of the early voices that helped shape Cash Money Records before the empire blew up. But her story isn't pretty. She claimed Birdman didn't just play industry games. She says he straight up sabotaged her career and sold off her catalog behind her back. That's when fans started asking if Birdman could allegedly do that to one of his own artists, what else might he be capable of behind closed doors?
The Birdman got millions of dollars and still playing on my top. After I apologized to this like I did something wrong, I apologized because kept saying I hurt him. I like how I hurt you. You left me. Well, I keep trying to tell this illiterate, ignorant that I was 13, 14 years old, 15. How could you make a decision when you're that young? He's so stupid, a pedophile. Why he only could see a kid? I was a kid, dummy. You can't even see that. Y'all know, man. Y'all feel what I'm saying? The only person I ever slept with Cash Money is BG. I could go to jail saying that. I was 17.
Ms. T's story reignited every suspicion people already had. She said she never got her publishing rights, meaning all her writing, her work, her blood, sweat, and tears gone without a payout. In music, that's not just bad business, that's betrayal. And it hits harder when you realize Ms. T wasn't some outsider crying foul. She was inside the machine. She appeared on BG's classic Chopper City in the Ghetto, right alongside Bun B, a legend in his own right. She saw how Birdman built his empire from the ground up, and according to her, he was more focused on control than loyalty. Now, people are starting to wonder, maybe those whispers about Birdman's ritual loyalty tests weren't just tabloid noise after all. Maybe there's more truth buried in those old stories than anyone's dared to admit. Ms. T wasn't just another name in the background. She was one of the pillars that helped Cash Money rise from nothing to a powerhouse. Her voice carried weight, and when she finally spoke out, people listened. She called Birdman a terrible businessman and claimed that most of Cash Money's artists ended up broke or bound by unfair deals. That hit hard because it wasn't coming from some outsider. It came from someone who helped build the brand from the ground up. And the stories she told, they painted a dangerous picture. Ms. T said the tension got so deep that one of Birdman's own former artists allegedly pulled up on him armed, demanding the money he was owed. Imagine that. Things getting so heated in the label that someone felt they had to show up strapped just to get paid. That says a lot about what was really going on behind those shiny chains and luxury cars. It wasn't all about business, it was survival. When you line up Ms. T's claims next to everything else, the Wayne kiss scandal, the lawsuits, the strange rituals, and the loyalty tests, it all starts forming one giant picture. Birdman wasn't just running Cash Money, he was controlling it like a puppet master. Either you played by his rules or you found yourself shut out. But what makes Ms. T's story even more powerful is that it wasn't just about her own career. She exposed something bigger, a pattern that hinted the whole system might be built on the same type of manipulation. And that's when the focus shifts to Atlanta, the city where all these behaviors have been magnified. See, Atlanta isn't just another hip-hop hotspot. It is the engine of the entire music industry right now. We're talking about a billion-dollar city filled with more than 300 professional studios cranking out hits every single day. It birthed trap music, gave rise to some of the most successful R&B crossovers, even pushed Afrobeat and alt-rap into the mainstream. Atlanta became the blueprint for every new sound. But with all that success came shadows. Because the same city that's running the charts is also where the strangest rumors in the business keep resurfacing. People whisper that Atlanta's not just the hub of innovation. It's the stage where all the hidden games get played. Rituals, oaths, secret deals, and loyalty tests. It's all part of the conversation now. And that's exactly what Thug's deleted tweet hit at. He wasn't just throwing shade, he was calling out an entire culture that's been swept under the rug for too long. Atlanta carries both the glory and the grime, a place where you can go from the trenches to superstardom, but at a cost nobody talks about. Some say you sell your soul for success. Others say you just have to play the game right. Either way, Thug's message shook the city because it made people question the price of fame in a place that built its empire on loyalty and secrets. And that's when the conversation got even messier, because Thug wasn't done. The focus shifted straight to his own camp. YSL. For years, Thug had been clowning other rappers for cooperating with the feds, laughing off rumors, and bragging about sticking to the street code like it was gospel. He even took subtle shots at Gunna for folding under pressure. But suddenly, that tough talk hit a wall when an old interrogation video from 2015 resurfaced. That 2-hour clip showed Thug sitting down with detectives, answering questions about the shooting of Lil Wayne's tour bus. And when that hit the internet, fans went wild. They started asking the one question Thug never wanted attached to his name: did he break the very code he preached to everyone else? That interrogation video flipped everything upside down. In that clip, Thug dropped the name Pee Wee Roscoe, one of his own YSL affiliates. And that single moment sent shockwaves through the streets. Roscoe later got hit with a 20-year sentence, and the internet went wild trying to piece together whether Thug had just broken the very code he'd spent years defending. Even worse, Thug told detectives they could keep the line open with the streets, and a move that many called straight-up betrayal. In street culture, that's not just a bad look, that's a code violation. Thug tried to clean it up, saying the footage was misleading, that he was trying to protect Pee Wee, not harm him. Even Pee Wee himself later backed that story up, claiming Thug was just playing chess to keep the cops off their trail. But by then, the damage was already done. When you've spent years calling other rappers out as snitches, and suddenly people can pull up video receipts suggesting you might have done the same, your credibility takes a hit that's hard to recover from. And just when fans thought it couldn't get worse, those leaked jail calls made everything explode again. In those recordings, Thug and a few others were laughing about Gunna's snitch label, even joking about it with Lil Baby. That hypocrisy hit different. How could Thug clown someone for cooperating when his own past was starting to look shaky? Fans began to question everything. Was Thug really about that street life, or was he just another artist bending the rules when it served him best? But this goes deeper than one man's reputation. This is about the entire culture of loyalty, silence, and survival that runs through hip-hop. The truth is, Thug's situation is just one example of a much bigger war happening inside the game. The no snitching rule has been the golden law for decades, especially in places like Atlanta, where music and the streets overlap like family. But now, that code is being tested harder than ever. Think about it. Every major RICO case, every arrest, every leaked statement, it's all blurring the lines between what's real and what's strategy. If you stay silent and loyal, the culture praises you as a hero, but you risk throwing away your life behind bars. On the flip side, if you cooperate to save yourself, you might walk free legally, but you lose everything: your respect, your name, and your spot in the streets. It's a lose-lose situation that's tearing the entire scene apart. And it's not just Atlanta. The same patterns are playing out in New York, Chicago, LA, and beyond. Every city has its own story of rappers caught between two worlds, the one they came from and the one they built their careers in. The industry demands authenticity, but real-life survival doesn't always play by those same rules. That's what makes Thug's leaked tapes such a fire starter. They didn't just expose one person, they exposed a system built on contradictions. The footage forced fans, peers, and even critics to ask the uncomfortable question: if the biggest names in rap can twist the code when it suits them, what does that say about the code itself? Now the stories come full circle. Thug called out Birdman's strange rituals, hinted at Atlanta's darkest secrets, and now finds himself buried in his own storm of snitching rumors and loyalty tests. It's like the game flipped on him overnight. Whether he meant to or not, Thug's caught in the same trap he once mocked, surrounded by whispers, old footage, and narratives that refuse to die. And just like that, The Hunter became the headline. After that footage spread across every platform, the silence from Birdman spoke louder than words. The man who once called Thug his future didn't rush to defend him. No statements, no explanations, nothing. That absence made people wonder if Birdman had quietly distanced himself, or if he was letting Thug deal with the same public heat he'd once put Wayne through. Either way, the power dynamic between them started to look fractured. The loyalty Birdman demanded from everyone around him suddenly felt one-sided. Inside the industry, whispers grew louder. Executives and insiders started saying Thug's downfall was the exact warning they'd been talking about for years, how Birdman's mentorship always came with a price. Artists close to the circle said Birdman loved creating dependency, keeping rappers close, feeding them fame, then watching them struggle when controversy hit. And Thug's current storm looked like history repeating itself. Meanwhile, fans began rewatching everything, the old interviews, the photos, the flashy moments, but now through a different lens, they started spotting subtle details that felt like foreshadowing, Birdman's mysterious hand signs, Thug's cryptic lyrics, even the way certain Cash Money affiliates suddenly went quiet online. It was like people finally started connecting dots they had ignored for years. Then came the legal chaos, court hearings, sealed files, delayed projects, all tangled up while Thug sat behind bars, and Birdman kept posting like nothing happened. That contrast hit fans hard. The man once painted as Thug's father figure didn't even seem fazed. To many, it felt like the ultimate betrayal. Another artist left to take the fall while Birdman's empire stayed untouched. But what made it even crazier was how other rappers began speaking up. Quiet voices in the game started dropping hints that Birdman's connections go deeper than music, that there's a whole system protecting certain names while others get crushed in court. And suddenly, Thug's downfall wasn't just a legal battle, it became a symbol of how power moves behind the curtains in hip-hop's highest circles. Birdman isn't just moving like a tough executive. The whispers say he's running something way deeper. A whole underground initiation setup meant to keep artists tied to him for life. Behind the luxury cars, diamond chains, and private jets, there's a structure that's been shaping who rises and who falls in the game. And Atlanta, it's not just a city anymore. It's the headquarters of a coded culture where loyalty, silence, and strange rituals mix with fame and fortune. Every deal, every alliance, every cosign seems to trace back to the same small circle of powerful hands pulling strings behind the curtain. The truth is, this system runs way past Young Thug or Birdman. What's really happening looks more like an invisible network that decides who gets to shine and who gets pushed to the sidelines. Artists come in chasing dreams but end up caught in a maze of unspoken rules. One wrong move, one broken code, and they're out. And when Thug dropped those hints online, fans felt it instantly, like he cracked open something that was never meant to be seen. People are starting to question everything now. The contracts, the rituals, even the sudden disappearances of artists who once dominated charts. It's like every clue, every strange symbol, every deleted post connects to a much bigger story that's been hiding in plain sight. And if what Thug hinted at is true, then he didn't just start a conversation. He might have lit the fuse for an explosion that could rewrite the entire power structure of hip-hop. Because what's coming next might finally expose who's really in control of the culture. The next move, the next revelation, it could change everything forever. So don't miss what happens next. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. And tap that next video on your screen right now for even more jaw-dropping celebrity drama and hidden stories from the world's biggest names. See you in the next one.